Katie Pladl married her biological father when she was 19 years old. And when she attempted to break things off with her father, Stephen went on a slaughtering frenzy that left 4 people dead. But how do adults like Katie Pladl come to agree to have intimate relations with a biological parent? While few studies address incest among adult children and their biological parents, it is more common than people realize. Due to the stigma and the fear of being shunned by friends or society, most individuals who have been in these relationships wouldn't dare admit it. So here's what we know. A decision in favor of incest on the part of the parent is typically an expression of narcissism. For the narcissistic parent, having intimate relations with a first-degree relative is akin to having them with oneself. The child is viewed as nothing more than an appendage of the narcissistic parent, like an arm. The message typically is, "You are a branch to my tree. You do not exist outside of me." And the narcissist knows the partners they choose initially are keys in establishing ultimate control in the family system. We know that fathers commit physical incest far more than mothers do. Why might this be? Men in particular are prone to sexualizing relationships in their inner circle. Men historically behave more opportunistically in professor-student, boss-secretary, doctor-patient power dynamic relationships. Men like Stephen Pladl might be prone to sexualizing every woman in their vicinity and taking advantage of every opportunity regardless of whether or not they're blood-related. But can a child at any age really give full consent to this kind of intimacy with a parent-child power dynamic? There is no greater power position in one's life than that of a parent. They shape our worldviews and maintain their positions of power during our most formative years. There is no one a child would rather please more than their parents. In subsequent systems, where a teacher gives out a gold star or a boss gives a raise, the positive response we experience is merely a reenactment of our original family system, where our parents gave us validation or approval. Adult children of narcissists are typically preyed upon while their brains are still malleable, before the brain is fully developed by the mid to late 20s. And there's typically a grooming process that occurs during this vulnerable time. So even when these young adults give so-called consent, they are merely submitting to a hardwired-in authority figure during a pivotal transitional phase in life. Incestuous narcissists encourage their children to idolize, to adore, and to blindly trust him or her. Full surrender to a narcissist's viewpoint can lead to a version of folie à deux, or madness of two, a shared psychosis that renders one defenseless in the face of their counterpart's skewed reality. The narcissistic parent often turns the tables on the child and accuses them of being the initial seducer. And because the attention can feel good to the child, they are often left confused and they believe what the parent says. Stephen Pladl needed ultimate control in his romantic relationships. At 20 years old, he seduced Alyssa over the internet when she was only 15. And when his 18-year-old child appeared on his doorstep, he began his narcissistic love bombing all over again. Unfortunately, when Katie broke up with her father, he lost control over her and snapped. He refused to be discarded and decided to take the power back by going on a full-blown murderous rampage. Stephen Pladl played God all the way through to the end of the final act.